Hey everybody, welcome to this Caregiver Coffee. My name is Matthew Estrad. I'm a gerontologist in St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana, and I've been partnering with the Council on Aging in St. Tammany for a little over 10 years, mainly as their caregiver support group facilitator that whole time. And half the time, so 5 years, bringing Caregiver Coffee to you. And of course, if you've been here before, you know what this is. This is education that we're trying to bring to people in their homes to help them to age in the most optimal way to care for those who are aging, even if it's you also, and helping people to live their life in the setting that they're most comfortable, usually at home, for as long as it makes sense. So today we're going to be talking sort of in line with medications, because a lot of information about medications is found online, but we're going to be talking mainly about uh, how to find trusted sources of health information online. So I think this will be really helpful. We'll cover as much as we can in this article from the NIH. So I'm really looking forward to this and glad that you're here. Before we get into that, as you know, if you've been here before, you know that I enjoy plugging the caregiver support group that we have every Tuesday evening here in St. Tammany Parish. So it's open to everyone who's caring for an older adult that wants to join us in person or online. And basically every Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Central, we're meeting either in person or we're meeting online. The first Tuesday of the month is at the Slidell Activity Center. The second Tuesday of the month, we're online. The third Tuesday of the month, we are in person at the Covington Senior Activity Center off of 190. And the fourth Tuesday, and sometimes during a fifth Tuesday, if we get the green light, we are online. So I'm hoping that you'll find that you can join us in all of those venues or some of those venues, or just online. So we have some that come to all three. They've come to Covington, they've come to Slidell, and sometimes online as well. So in whatever frequency that you want to try that, you can find more information at coastseniors.org. And if you navigate over to caregiver services, or maybe it's caregiver resources, but it's going to be caregivers. You'll see my picture, I believe, and then you can download the latest flyer. We publish a new flyer every 2 months, because we'll have 2 months of dates on there and let you know where we are. So it's especially important if there are holidays that fall on a Tuesday, because then we let you know when we're meeting that week, because typically we don't cancel. We either do it the day before or later in the week, depending on the holiday. And you can also find the phone number and the Zoom link on there as well. So I hope you'll do that. And in doing so, you can join the email list. So then you can also receive the reminders that I send on Tuesday morning, so you know where we are. So, and also I include the flyer in most of those emails. So I hope that if you've not joined us before, I hope you'll try us out. Some very welcoming and friendly people, and lots of caregiver wisdom, as they are caregivers themselves. So thanks for listening to my spiel again, as you do every video. All right, let's dive into this really important topic. So there is so much information. There's so much health information online, and there's websites, and there's email newsletters, and there's blogs, and people have opinions, and sometimes they have research behind those opinions. And this article will kind of talk about how to find out how to figure out the good, credible information versus the information that might be biased and even sometimes fraud and some kind of scam. So as always, take this advice to discernment, and just use it the best that you can. And I'm always open to feedback on any of these things based on your experience and your thoughts. So this is an article from the NIH. And as always, I'm going to hit highlights. Some sections I'll read verbatim, but I really just try to kind of highlight highlight some of the main points, the key points, and then let you go and read the full article yourself. And then you also are able to share that with others if you found it helpful, and even print it out and take notes on it. All right, so as a rule, the health websites sponsored by the government agencies tend to be accurate sources of information. You can reach all of the federal websites by going to www.usa.org. They have medical and health organizations, hospitals, and academic medical institutions that out there that are also credible sources of information. One in particular that's really good is medlineplus.gov. This is a website from the NIH National Library of Medicine that has dependable consumer health information on more than 1,000 health topics. And even the National Institutes on Aging has a great health, they call it Health A through Z index of all these great articles. Like, it's where I find a lot of the articles is from NIA, and then bring them to you here and encourage reading them. So some questions to ask before trusting a website that you have. By searching online, of course, you're going to find a lot of websites. Many of the answers to what we're about to talk about can be found in that particular website's About Us section. So the first question is and let's see, there's six questions that this article encourages you to ask about the different websites you might be looking at and for credible information. First is, what is the purpose of the website? Who owns it and who sponsors it? So why was the site created? Was it to inform and explain, or is it trying to sell a product or service? Understanding the motive of a website can help you better judge its content. The goal of any trustworthy information site is to provide accurate, current, and useful information versus trying to make a sale. So here's some easy ways for determining whether the website is credible. You can look at the website extension. So .gov indicates a U.S. government agency. .edu is an educational institute. It could be a school, university. Sometimes it can be a healthcare organization, although many times those organizations are going to be .org. And certainly .org most of the time, unless they're able to fool somebody. That .org means a nonprofit organization. Although I will say anybody can buy a .org site when they're shopping for website domain names. So keep that in mind as well. .com can be commercial websites, businesses, pharmaceutical companies, and I mean just anybody. The only one you probably can't purchase is .gov, and it's probably difficult to get .edu, although I'm not so sure. So just looking at the domain name is just the beginning of your investigation into their credibility. And while many commercial sites do provide accurate information, it can be hard sometimes to determine which of the content is marketing information and promotional and what is neutral, unbiased information. So the second question asked is, who wrote the information and who reviewed it? Website pages often, but not always, identify the authors and the contributors, and even who reviewed it and the date that it was reviewed, so you know whether or not if it's a few years old and could stand some updating, or if it's within the last year. If the material is not authored by an expert, the information has the information been reviewed by a healthcare professional or other credentialed specialist? Trustworthy websites also have contact information, email address, phone number, mailing address, so you can reach the site sponsor. And this many times can be found under the contact us page. Be cautious about testimonials, individual blogs, and post discussions on boards. Well, while personal stories might be comforting, many times it's hard to tell if it is credible. So just kind of take that as somebody's opinion on what they're giving a testimonial about. When was the information written and updated? Look for sites that stay current with their health information. You don't want to make decisions based on out-of-date content. Many times articles and blogs. I know a moment ago I mentioned some dates. But this is just kind of further discussion on that. You can look to see how often everything has been updated, not just a particular article, but was the last time that they wrote an article 2020, the year 2020. So it can give you an indication of, is the whole website up to date and being updated and kept up with and accurate? Is your privacy protected? This is the fourth one. Does the website state a clear and strict privacy policy? Read the website's policy. It's usually at the very bottom of the page, or a separate page titled privacy policy or our policies. If it uses cookies, your information may not be private. Cookies are small text files that enable a website to collect and remember information about your visit. So I see this all the time. I think more than half of the sites that I visit ask about cookies or say, we're collecting cookies. Do you want to proceed? And cookies are collected, so like if you want the website to remember your login ID, your email address, your and things like that, then that's how it remembers or from these cookies. So just beware. If you're uncomfortable with that, don't be on the website. Many times, or sometimes I should say, they allow you to either accept or reject. And if you reject, you have to leave the website. Some will let you reject it and they don't care, so you stay on the website. Some let you sort of toggle through some selections as to what is collected and what is not collected. So it just kind of depends. And I am definitely not an expert on cookies and what they're collecting, et cetera, but just be aware of that and look into it if you have an interest in that. How can I protect my health information is the fifth one of these six. If you're asked to share personal information, be sure to see how it's going to be used. Secure websites that collect personal information responsibly have an S after the HTTP. That's the start of the website address. So it would be HTTPS:// is a secure site. Be careful about sharing things such as their social security number. Find out why the number is needed, how it will be used, and what will happen if you do not share this information. Now, typically, I've only seen social security collected for official government things where you need to prove your identity, not when you're shopping. So beware if you're being asked for that. Take these precautions that may help protect your information. Beware of healthcare fraud scams and pay attention when browsing the internet. Do not open unexpected links, links that sound too good to be true, sites that just kind of look really strange. Don't click on those out of curiosity. Always use a strong password. I am a big fan of using a password manager. I use Bitwarden. It's free. There are paid versions, but it is free. And I use that to create my passwords and to store my passwords. And you can certainly, there are other ones out there besides Bitwarden, but that just happens to be the one that that I personally use and have for years. Use two-factor authentication when you can. This means that when you log in, it also says, okay, well, before you actually get access to your account or your profile, we're going to send you either an email, and you're going to go look up that code that was just emailed to you, or a code that was just sent via text message. So highly encourage using two-factor authentication. It does take a few more minutes. It might be a pain, but it's worth it because it's going to it's going to lower your risk and increase your security against fraud. And B, even if someone wanted to try to get through that, they're going to be discouraged. They're going to go look for an easier target. So keep that in mind. Don't enter sensitive information over public Wi-Fi. Let me stop this timer. So beware of using public Wi-Fi. Don't enter safe information. There's also a link to how to safely use Wi-Fi networks. Be careful about the information that you share on social media sites. For example, don't put information such as where you live, etc., or contact any kind of contact information on a public channel. Yeah, so use caution with sharing your real information. Lots of scammers out there, lots of people want to take advantage, etc. And then I would even say on the social media thing, beware of strange messages that you get even from people who purport to be your friends. Right at this moment, I have somebody who I'm Facebook friends with, um, and they're sending me messages that sound like fraud. It's not my friend. So it's likely that my friend is not checking their profile, and so someone has sort of hijacked it in his sending emails, trying to get you to uh, pay for like this list, or just kind of get sweepstakes information, that sort of thing, because you've apparently won money. So anyway, just be aware of that kind of stuff. The last one we'll wrap up. Does the website offer quick and easy solutions to your health problems? Does it promise a miracle cure? Or I would even say a miracle prevention. Just beware of that kind of stuff, as far as um, miracle cures and prevention. And when 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 folks are in a situation, in almost a desperate situation, they may try things and just say, you know what, it's $500, and if it works, then it's great. I only lost $500, but that is a lot of money, and you don't know really what you're going to be. Do you want to take a chance, not just on the money, but your health and your well-being? So I would be very wary about things like that. And being someone who's in gerontology, all the time I see promises of brain health, and whether it's a technology or it's a pill, et cetera. So take a look at the evidence. There are nutrients that you can have that have research-based evidence behind them, and they're not a ton of money. They're not marketed as like proprietary, as in we invented this. They're utilizing things within nature, and they're clear about that. So it's like finding, like, I don't even want to say what they are because I can't give you the evidence right now. I don't have it in front of me. But safe to say that there are people out there that are promoting things that are minerals, and vitamins and things like that that are naturally occurring and processed, but then processed and sold. But there is some evidence behind them, and then you can kind of weigh that. The last thing I'll talk about is, and I've mentioned this in a previous video, is to utilize Google Scholar. So Google Scholar is a specific search engine within Google that will search scholarly articles. That's why it's called Google Scholar. And by scholarly articles, we mean these are written by researchers. They're reviewed by researchers before they go into the journal. So unless there's been some kind of fraud on behalf of the researcher, and it's not caught, then it's pretty credible. Now that has happened. There's been fraud in journals before, but it is rare, and usually they find out about it. So Google Scholar, and you would put in like MCT oil and dementia, fish oil and dementia, things like that. So that's going to help you find some information that's credible, tell you how many people were studied using it, if there was a control group with it, if it was a small sample or a large sample, and kind of what they concluded from it. So we will wrap up there. I just want y'all to stay safe out there when finding information, because that's going to influence things that you ingest or purchase, or both. So be safe. Follow these tips. I'll have a link to this article in the video description so you can read everything, because I certainly didn't get to everything on here, but it's got lots of really good ideas: staying safe, staying vigilant. And share this with your families, so that they stay safe as well. So thank you, as always, for supporting the Council on Aging at St. Tammany, and I look forward to being on your your smartphone or your computer sometime in the future. Take care.